Montbre Castle, weather-beaten, battle-scarred, it stands high upon a hill where, some 100 years ago, the first Baron of Montbre raised its heavy stone walls and mighty towers, symbols of power and security. In return for security, the people who live around Montbre acknowledge the lord of the castle as their master. They labor for him, pay him homage, and seek in him a protector against invaders and tyrants. This morning, as is his daily custom, Sir Giles de Montbre makes the rounds to oversee the guards. He starts with the guard on the east tower and gives orders for the day to the captain of the guard. From the tower, Sir Giles can survey the guarded moat below, and beyond it, the land, his land, the villages, farms, and forests that are his to rule and his to protect. In the government of the manor community, he is aided by the seneschal, the caretaker of his estate. This morning, the seneschal reports that the serfs are grumbling because special donations will be expected from them at Whitsuntide. Sir Giles has set this spring holiday as the wedding day for his son Phillip, and it is customary to demand donations from the serfs whenever a lord's son marries. While Sir Giles listens to his seneschal's report, he takes the way through the west tower to make sure that all the guards are manning their stations. Below the tower, on the upper terrace of the castle, his son Phillip, the young bridegroom-to-be, practices swordsmanship with his squire. From the castle terrace, the seneschal leads his master to the outer courtyard, where the life of the Montbre community busily moves along, sheltered behind the fortress walls. All looks peaceful this morning. Still, war is an ever-present threat. And because danger is ever-present, artisans and craftsmen ply their trades within the protection of the walls, producing goods for the manor hall and for the whole community. Here, blacksmiths shape plowshares, tanners and saddle makers fashion leather goods, and armorers repair the weapons of war. For manors such as Montbre are like islands, set alone in a sea of wasteland and forest, sometimes surrounded by impassable mud. Small, isolated worlds which came into being after the Roman Empire had crumbled under the heels of invading barbarians. From the east, the conquering hordes descended upon Rome and swept away the central government. Roman garrison towns vanished, and Europe was left in chaos. It was then that small landowners, driven by the need for protection, gave up the titles to their farms to larger landowners or successful warriors who could give them shelter and security. So gradually, a new community organization emerged, the manor community, with a new way of life which we call the feudal way of life, or feudalism, a society based upon the servant-master relationship in which the serf pays homage to his lord, the lord to his superior, he in turn to his superior, and so on and on up to the very top of the social ladder to the king. Word that there will be a wedding at Whitsuntide spreads fast. In the warmth of the community oven, the gossips gather to discuss the coming occasion. One of the women, who washes for the hall, displays the beautiful garments which will soon adorn the ladies of the castle.
Hush, the young master's coming. Hurry. Lo, baker, show me the morning's yield of bread.
'Tis hot yet, my lord.
Fairly done, my man. A goodly show. Here, accept this. What fetchest thou?
I bring a black goose for the kitchen and the hall.
Move along, Peter Grimes.
As land is the source of all wealth and power in the Middle Ages, Sir Giles' influence is reckoned by the size of his domain. The position of the serf, too, is determined by the extent of his landholding. At Montbre, the workload is portioned out fairly. The serfs are permitted to elect from amongst themselves a representative to guard their rights in dealings with the lord. This is a hard year. Serf John Grimmel complains of the lack of rain, for no matter how small the yield, he knows the lord will still claim his rent. Unchangeable custom has decreed that the serf must pay the lord a fixed rent in work and services. John Grimmel and the other serfs work all the land on the manor. This shaded area represents the lord's own domain worked by the serfs for the master. These black areas represent the land apportioned to the village in which John Grimmel lives. John and his neighbors rotate their crops. One year they grow wheat or rye, the next oats or barley, peas or even beans. Each year one field lies fallow so that its soil may rest. This again is a time-honored custom followed by all the serfs of the region. Good wife Grimmel attends to her house when she is not busy in the fields. Today John has returned home earlier than usual because his plow needs attention. He is proud of his home. It is one of the best in the village, for John is considered one of the foremost serfs in the community. This is why the seneschal often comes to him when he has special problems to discuss. This time, it is the wedding donations that he has come to talk about. John reminds the seneschal that this has been a year of drought and hard on everyone. He himself is already giving the Lord 2 days a week in labor and a good portion of all he grows. The wedding donation will have to be small. Here comes John's son, Peter.
Humble greetings to thee, Sir Seneschal.
From whence come you?
From the mill. This miller is a churlish man to the poor peasant. It is not wholesome flour, Sir Seneschal, but filled with crushed stones and filth.
Then walk with me and we shall look to this.
The miller, unlike the members of the Grimmel family, is not a serf. He is a freeman. Usually, freemen have no land. Their special skills make them useful to the manor community. Even though the miller is a freeman, he too must pay the lord a rent for milling privileges.
I hear plaints about you. Look at this flour.
The seneschal demands that the miller examine the flour ground for Peter Grimmel.
Show me this flour against which you have plaints.
In this way, the seneschal helps maintain order in the manor community.
Is good flour.
There are stones in it. You care for naught but your own share. The serfs will have you in court. Come on, Peter.
On court days, the seneschal presides over the Lord's court. Today, Miller Tobias has been brought before the court to be tried before a jury of villagers. The miller complains that the serfs are troublesome. Against the orders of the Lord, many are grinding grain in their homes and thus cheat the miller of his share. While Tobias pleads before the seneschal, the jury examines the flour. Tobias, too, has a chance to explain his side of the case to the jury. The jury system began in this way and captured the people's sense of justice throughout Western Europe.
Jurors, what say you?
It's bad flour.
Your Honor.
Has he been fined before?
Twice before.
Oh? Miller, you have been before this court for the same offense previously. For the same offense, you shall be fined 20 pieces. It's only a small sum. Pay gladly, Miller. For the money that you paid today will serve a holy cause.
For over the years at Montbre, a custom has sprung up decreeing that on certain court days, the fine shall go not to Sir Giles, but to the church. The church, a mighty and awe-inspiring word in the Middle Ages. Where other unity is lacking, the power of the church is the cement that holds together the many dissimilar groups of the feudal world. To the powerful, it is an ever-present reminder that they are humble before God, master of all the world. To the lowly serf, it provides a glowing ray of hope for improvement. For the church teaches that lord and a serf are equal alike before God, and God recruits his servants from all classes of society. The Montbre priest, like many others, is of humble origins. Yet, when he speaks in matters of the soul, his voice is that of the mighty Church of Rome, and all must listen to it. Near Montbre Castle lies the Abbey of Montbre. The Lord uses the services of its ecclesiastics. 2 monks are permanently engaged to serve the manor, one as the keeper of records, the other as reader for the young ladies and noblemen. Most of the learning of the time, most of the history and traditions of the region are preserved by the ecclesiastics of the castle and the nearby abbey. As the wedding day draws near, activities in the ladies' quarters increase. Into the sheltered inner court, wandering merchants find their way, going from manor to manor, bearing goods from the east and spreading news and gossip in their wake. The noble ladies clamor for fine silks, rich damasks, and shining satins from the Orient. They ask for rugs and carpets for the bleak castle floors, and for themselves, the luxuries of fine jars and vases, spices and perfumes. As a result of the Crusades, routes to the east, long closed by the Muslims, were flung open to the Western world, and commercial exploration parties set out from Genoa and Venice across the Mediterranean, seeking new routes to the east and its treasures. Finding profit in it for themselves, Muslim rulers opened their frontiers to the adventurous traders from Italy. Whitsuntide has come. The Mass has been read, and the wedding is over.
Isn't it beautiful? Blue and gold. How fair these are. The ceremony was most beauteous, Alice. It is for thy sake and my son's that we feast this Whitsuntide. Now take heart and calm thyself, and for the rest of the day be merry. But make haste, I hear one coming.
Sir Giles, your ladyship.
Come in, come in. Indeed, my lord, you are ever a welcome visitor here.
I come but to tell my admiration for the marvelous apparel of the ladies.
And we, for our part, will praise you for the most wondrous tiara bestowed by you upon your new daughter.
I would not intrude my presence, but make haste, I pray thee, ladies. The whole court awaits your coming.
From the village green come sounds of rejoicing. For this day, at least, the hard drudgery of ordinary life is forgotten, as all the villagers enjoy the food and ale provided by the castle. Only the cooks are hard at work. On their table stands an assortment of many spices bearing testimony to how much Montbre, like other manors, has come to depend upon trade with the East. Young Peter Grimmel is assisting in the kitchen, but his heart lies outside, where his comrades are wrestling for the prize of the day. And as the serfs enjoy their robust sports, the noble guests have daintier games to amuse them. Shuttlecock, a forerunner of badminton, and jeu de paume, a similar sport. Archery for the menfolk, and archery for the gentle ladies. The ladies also enjoy the sport of riding.
Come ye, lad. That's the plate.
In the great hall, the boards are spread with a banquet for the Montbrefs and the Tournevals, the families now united by marriage. In honor of the occasion, the young couple are placed in the revered position next to the noble lady and the lord of Montbre. On festive days such as this, it is usual for the Lord to display his generosity, perhaps by granting special privileges to one or more of his subjects.
Thou, Peter Grimes, so you bethink thee evermore of this day, I set thee free.
I pledge my life to my master.
Go you to my son and give him thanks, for you are beholden to him. And now to feast, one and all.
So the successor to Montbre starts out in a new phase of his life. Someday he is to become the lord of the manor, to whom the villagers will pay their homage as he in turn honors his protector, riding to battle with him as a vassal in the tradition of the times. But before long, this tradition in which he has been reared is to change. From the scholars tucked away in their remote monasteries are to come strange speculations about the shape of the earth, which will fire men's imaginations, daring them to sail upon uncharted seas on voyages of exploration. With the expansion that is to follow exploration, nations will become unified as kings take over control of smaller communities in their domain and guarantee safety to their subjects. So gradually, the fortified castles, no longer needed as havens of protection, no longer self-contained worlds, turn into mere manor houses. And the way of life called feudalism slips away into legend and memory.